The 2026 Acura MDX Type-S is a fast, tech-laden three-row SUV that tries to be both family hauler and performance car. So can it pull it off? Let's go for a drive and find out. Let's start with the important bit, power. Under the hood, the MDX Type-S gets a 3-liter turbocharged V6 pumping out 355 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque, all sent to all four wheels through a 10-speed automatic. That's a big step up from the regular MDX. Floor it and 0 to 100 kilometers an hour happens in about 5.5 seconds, which is hot hatch quick and something that can carry your kids, your dog, and a week's worth of shopping. Sadly, this car doesn't sound as good as it goes. The V6 doesn't have the operatic tones of something like the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, nor does it have the unique sound of the V6 and the Nissan 370Z. But while it may not be the shoutiest engine around, it will get your heart pumping. It has a flat torque curve and peak torque is reached at just 1400 RPMs. This allows it to respond quickly and effortlessly when you put your foot down. Use the pedals and it actually listens, snapping off shifts quickly enough that you start to forget you're in a three-row SUV at all. But the Type-S is more than just an MDX with a big engine underneath the hood. Acura's engineers have given it proper performance hardware. It has adaptive air suspension, wider 21-inch wheels, retuned anti-roll bars, big Brembo front brakes, and the latest version of super handling all-wheel drive. SH-AWD drive can shuffle torque around to help the car rotate in a corner rather than just understeer off into the scenery. Combine that with the lower, firmer Sport and Sport Plus settings from the adaptive air suspension, and the MDX Type-S actually enjoys being driven on the edge. Turn-in is sharper than you expect, body roll is well controlled, and the whole thing feels more athletic than a three-row box on wheels has any right to. No, it's not a track toy, but for a family SUV, this is one of the more entertaining options out there. In the Sport Plus mode, the steering weighs up, the suspension firms up, and the gearbox holds on to lower gears like as though it's trying to impress a hot date or something. You look down and the speed is very, very quick, but unfortunately, as I said before, not a whole lot of drama in terms of noise. Question is, does all this performance ruin the comfort? Surprisingly, no. On 21-inch wheels and low-profile tires, you'd expect constant complaining from your spine, but the air suspension is well tuned, especially in comfort mode. It takes the edge off bumps and expansion joints without feeling floaty. At highway speeds, the cabin stays impressively quiet thanks to good insulation and dual-pane windows up front. Wind and road noise stay in the background, and you're left with a refined, almost luxury sedan vibe, just one that happens to be taller and can tow more stuff. Yes, you'll still feel rough roads, this is a sporty SUV after all, but it feels firmly comfortable instead of punishing, if that makes sense. On long family road trips, this is a good compromise for an SUV such as this. Of course, you don't get 355 horsepower and all-wheel drive for free. Official numbers for the MDX Type-S sit at around 11 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway and about 14 liters per 100 kilometers in a city. That's a bit worse than a standard MDX and roughly average among performance-flavored luxury SUVs. If you're coming from a hybrid or mild hybrid SUV, then of course your fuel bills are going to go up. But chances are, if you are shopping for a car like this, then more likely than not, you are looking for smiles per gallon rather than miles per gallon. Inside, the MDX Type-S still remembers that it is a family SUV after all, so it has 3 rows and seating for up to 7. The front row is very generous, especially for my 6'4" height, plenty of legroom and plenty of headroom. The second row is adult friendly, I fit just fine behind my tall driving position, whereas the third row is best for kids, or short hops if you are an adult. Getting into that third row is super easy, it's just a push of a button, and the seat slides and tilts forward, allowing you to focus on getting your kids in the back, as well as a backpack or their favorite toy that they like to bring with them. Cargo space is also solid. You have usable room behind the third row and a big flat load area with both rows of rear seats folded, giving you around 2,700 liters for all your stuff. The floor is fairly low, the opening is wide, and there are plenty of tie-downs and storage cubbies for smaller items. The Type-S dresses up the cabin with quilted leather, contrast stitching, and a sportier steering wheel. The front seats are fantastic. Lots of adjustments, heating, ventilating, and even a massage on this ultra trim with a few different programs to choose from. They're supportive enough for spirited driving, but soft enough that you can get out after a long journey without feeling like you've been through a gym session. Some rivals do offer flashier materials or more dramatic designs, but the MDX's cabin is a comfortable, well-equipped place to spend time. Tech is a big part of the MDX Type-S experience. You get a digital instrument cluster with different views for trip data, navigation, all-wheel drive torque distribution, a G-meter, and more. As well, a head-up display shows your speed and navigation directions right in your line of sight. The infotainment system integrates features like Google Maps and connected services backed up by wireless charging and a full spread of USB ports. Driver assistance includes adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, lane centering, and so on, so long trips and commutes are both easier and less tiring. The MDX Type-S now also comes with a 31-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system that turns the cabin into your own personal concert. It's the sort of setup that makes you arrive at home and just sit in the driveway to let the song finish. Now for the painful bit, the price. The Type-S starts at $90,380 Canadian, but at least it does come as a fully loaded vehicle. I know it still is a lot of money, but when you start comparing equipment lists, the Type-S does undercut European rivals with similar performance. So the 2026 Acura MDX Type-S is quick, comfortable, well-equipped, and actually fun to drive, while still hauling your family and all their assorted chaos. The fuel economy is nothing to brag about, and the cabin, while nice, won't outglit some European rivals. But it more than makes up for that with value and everyday usability. If you want a 3-row SUV that actually feels like as though it wants to go around corners, and you don't want to remortgage your house for a fancy badge, then the Acura MDX Type-S is definitely worth a look. Think of this as the SUV for people that still like to drive, but they also like to do the school run, or go to Costco, or have chiropractor-free road trips. But anyway, if you would like to know more about this Acura MDX Type-S, I have a more detailed written review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up there. And as always, I will see you in the next car, truck, or most likely another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.